Welcome everyone to the Purr Play Sip Podcast. My name is Chuck Patton and I'm the Purr Proprietor at Perfect Day Cafe. And this is Rosemary,
Hello.
Our resident expert on all things kitties, all things adoptions. We have been together now for 4 years as we're doing planning and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we started the Perfect Day Cafe out of Louisville, Kentucky, and also have one in Covington, Kentucky. And we have done over 7,000 adoptions combined. It is springtime now, at the end of spring, getting ready to go into kitten season and all that fun kind of stuff. And our adoptions go out the roof. Although they were wonderful this month, weren't they?
Oh, 97 total.
97 adoptions this month, which it ties actually last year, which was COVID year, when we did record months. So that's fantastic. And we continue to grow thanks to our wonderful community. And we are becoming a thing and a place to adopt.
We're a thing.
And we are a thing now. And so being a thing and having lots of experience being a thing, we're also trying to take our knowledge and share it with everyone out there, which is why we ask everybody to subscribe, click on subscribe and share it so we can help become a resource for everyone. And this podcast is really all about the finance part of it. And it's so important. What we really want to do is set you all up for success. If you are out there adopting and you are trying to contemplate that, first of all, I want to congratulate everybody who's looking at videos, doing the research. It is a 15 to 20 year deal here. You know what I'm saying? So that is a very, very big commitment. And if you're going into this impulsively, we see it a lot, first of all, but at the same time, we're really congratulating those people that are doing research. Some people think, oh, it's no big deal. I get a litter box, I get food. How much does that cost? That's no big deal.
Right.
What do you think?
And we're not saying this from a financial standpoint to scare you. We want to prepare you. So there you go. Because a lot of times people come in, they fall in love, but we are here as adoption counselors or at a shelter. They're there as the adoption counselors to guide you through. We always say you're going to make that decision with your heart, but it's also really important to make a sensible decision when it comes to your lifestyle, when it comes to your work schedule, when it comes to who you have at home. And then a big thing is financial, because we read a little bit about ASPCA said it's about $634 to $650 a year nationwide to care for your cat every single year. So you've got to think about things, when you adopt, the first thing you're going to pay, if you go to a cat cafe, you're going to pay for the session fee, which of course helps us keep our doors open. But then you have the adoption fees. So most shelters, well, I guess all shelters, their cats are spayed or neutered. They are microchipped. They are they're tested for any kind of diseases such as FIV or feline leukemia. If they're over 4 months old, they already have their rabies vaccination. If you're in the state of Kentucky and you're in a certain city, you have to pay for a license fee. And then on top of that, you of course need food. You need litter and litter boxes.
Yeah, and let me share on that as well too. I've got 3 cats at home. I'm asked that a lot. The one cat I found in a bush at work, and the other 2 I adopted here from the cat cafe. When we brought the kitten in to go get everything done that she needed, Ginger, everything she needed, it was $400 to $500 for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like spay, neuter, all the shots and everything. She had none of that. So the shelters that are out there are an amazing resource. Adoption fees will vary according to where you are in the country, anywhere from $25 to $150, and everything is included. And so that's amazing, and those are either your tax dollars or your donation dollars that are going to service to make sure that they keep it affordable, but it's not always affordable.
It's not always affordable. So you just have to sort of put it into your budget. Another big thing that we see a lot at the Cat Cafe at both of our locations, and I'm sure shelters see a lot too, you need to consider there's a reason on your application where it says, do you own or do you rent? Of course, if you own your home, so it's not any big deal. But if you rent, there are a lot of apartment complexes out there that charge first and last month's rent, plus a pet security deposit, plus a lot of times they are going to charge a monthly pet fee. And that is, of course, we totally understand that. That's to cover anything from damage from dogs or cats, because things do happen. Things get scratched, things get stained. It's like having a new child in your home. It's going to happen. So a lot of apartment complexes need to do that, and we totally understand that, but that's something up front you need to ask your apartment complex.
Yeah,
really important.
And they can be really, really tricky, guys, and it's something that we are advocating for. Unfortunately, there are apartment complexes that'll say, okay, well, you must declaw in order to come in here. Or they'll even say, it's $100 a month for you to have a cat. And you're like, wait a minute, $1,200 a year?
That's a lot.
That's way too expensive. So they're trying to make sure you don't bring animals in there. And that's a big part of what you need to research ahead of time. Again, we've seen it happen. It's heartbreaking. People make a bond. They love it. They're so looking forward to it. And then we get a call 48 hours later, or even a month later, and say, I don't know what to do. My landlord said this. Or it's become too expensive.
Right. Because a lot of people are having to move and downsize in today's economy, and they have to make some choices. And then what happens is you have to make some really tough decisions between moving into a place where you can keep a roof over your head and then being able to accommodate your cat's monetary needs. And we understand that. So your shelters are so helpful during that. And we even have things like pet food banks and insurance and all the things that are also there to help you. But you also want to be prepared so that you don't have those pitfalls on down the line. So financial responsibility is huge. You want to make sure that if your shelter offers pet insurance, a lot of times that is only about $10 a month, which is amazing. It covers everything except for dental and then basic vaccinations. You also want to find a wonderful veterinarian. Shop around. Don't just take the one that's closest to your house. Make sure that they are offering a good price. Sometimes they offer student discounts, senior discounts, military discounts. I have none of those things. I paid full price for all of my kitties. We're having an argument back here.
No, just...
Make sure if you're getting a sassy cat that you have lots of spaces
or
for
a clumsy cat. I think that was more of a clumsy. Oh,
that's
right.
We can get poor Chucky. So you want to really think about, am I financially able? We have a lot of college students who are adopting. And so because you're getting into ESAs, because now you can bring cats into your dorm, which is so fantastic. You can imagine how
Mental
much of a stress reliever that is. So I also want to say too to our college students, a good shelter and cat cafes are always going to counsel those college students just a little bit more, because you already have a lot of expenses on your plate with your education. We want to make sure that it's the right choice for you.
So, Rosemary, somebody comes in, they adopt a cat, they do not have a cat at home, right? They have no idea. How much all in do you think, minus the adoption fee, how much all in do you think it's going to take them to get prepared to have everything that cat is going to need right at the beginning?
Well, it's kind of funny because we have a lot of people who will schedule a pickup because they don't have a cat. They don't have anything from a previous cat, because you can reuse litter boxes and things like that. They're like, I don't have a thing. And we always say, don't go crazy. Don't go buy everything.
And then they come in with that carrier with the bubble in it.
Right, exactly. But we do say, you need a carrier on down the line. You need litter. You need litter box. You need cat food. You need toys. You need treats. You need basic things to keep them occupied and also to keep them stimulated and enriched. So I would say, just based on my experience for when adopters come back to us, and I've heard them talk about it at some of the other shelters as well, we're looking at probably at the get-go $150 at your local pet store.
Okay, just to start it up.
Just to start it up.
They don't need the $170 lump.
You can go to Chewy and spend all of the money you want to spend.
And by the way, cat scratchers have come a long way. Now they're just they're recycled corrugated
and they're pretty
stuff. I know, And so that's kind of a fun thing to be able to do. But again, that's all in. That's litter boxes. That's the whole nine yards to prepare.
Necessities. Yes.
So after that, just on kind of a monthly cost, what do you think?
So I would say a monthly cost, because from the get-go, the first thing you're going to experience is you want to get your rescue animal, even though they're vetted out, you want to get them in for a basic wellness exam within the first 2 weeks for kittens, 2 to 3 weeks for adults. Kittens, you're going to incur, you have to have 2 more vaccinations, and that is on your plate. That is part of your responsibility, and those are very, very important to get those 4 rounds of what we call an FVRCP, which is a booster shot. After that, with your adult cats, as far as veterinary fees, it's really just once a year, but you have to be prepared for injury or illness at any given moment. With the kittens, usually looking at a little bit more because we always say they're at a furry little daycare, so they're probably going to come down with a kitty cold or eat something they shouldn't because they're babies. So you really want to be prepared for that and have that money prepared, or get something like an insurance or a cat care plan that a lot of vets offer. But other than that, I can't really say mine are huge because I have 3 special needs cats. Chewy loves all of me with all of my money all of the time because they're all on prescription. But you want to get a good high quality cat food, which can be $12 to $15 a bag. Kittens eat you out of house and home, as you know, whereas adult cats are more scheduled. Then if you want to help them by getting them things like a kitty water fountain, of course you want to give your cats treats because they're rescues and you want them to have a wonderful life. So I would say the average person is probably going to spend an additional $25 to $35 a month. Litter is not cheap. Even your cheapest litter is not cheap. So I would say probably for one adult cat or maybe 2 kittens, you're probably looking about $25 to $35 a month just on food, litter, and things like that.
Yeah. So I think, the 650 estimate by the ASPCA is maybe a little bit on the high side. But I think one of the other things to really kind of point out on here is that the biggest expense and the reason why we see surrenders come back to the Cat Cafe is just because you have some sort of medical issue that comes up. And I think that is important. You do that within your own budget. You'd say, okay, hey, I'm setting aside this money for a rainy day. If the car breaks down, I need a new washer, dryer, whatever it is. I think it's very important to be able to do that for the cats as well. Remember, with the vets that are out there, vets are a business. If they do not charge you for the work that they do, they are going to go out of business, and of course we don't want that. But if you have a senior kitty and you decide you're going to adopt someone like what Rosemary has, you're going to have to go ahead and budget for a lot more on your medical care because it takes the vets that much more to be able to do that. Same thing with the kittens. If a kitten crashes, there's some things that are very easy. Upper respiratory is probably our number one issue. It's really, how much is that medicine now? $30, $40?
A round of doxycycline can be about $250 for 14 days. But if you have pet insurance, it covers everything except for a $50 deductible, which is huge.
Well, the good news about that as well, too, 7 days worth of antibiotics. It's good to go. It's not something to be alarmed about. But yes, kittens can crash fairly easy, and you got to make sure that you are budgeting for this. So if you are a high school person or somebody that is just going into college and you have a small apartment or whatever it is, please make sure that you set aside that money. We want to avoid you having to go back to a shelter, back to a cat cafe, and return your cat and say, hey, wait a minute. And I tell you what, it's never that easy. For us, it's typically, hey, something's went wrong, you sold me a bad cat. Don't say that to a cat cafe or a shelter. No one sold you anything. You're here to rescue.
You adopted a rescue kitten.
Yeah, that's right. So, but that's one of the things that we're trying to tell people. If you are rescuing, you need to understand it is not a breeding situation. There isn't quality control and a guarantee on the box.
And cats are mysteries sometimes, you know. We don't know that they have symptoms until they're home and exhibiting because they've gotten in, they've gotten comfortable, they've settled in. We actually had a really, you weren't here yesterday, but we had some of our fosters who have adopted from us before, and I asked how their kitty was doing, June, and Paige, she's the teenager who adopted with her mom. She said, he is at the hospital right now because he ate a hair tie, and it got into his lower intestine. It got into his lower intestine, and $2,500 later, he'll be coming home today.
Those are the unpredictable parts of it. But I would tell you that's if you put aside a rainy day fund, you act like it's coming. If it doesn't come, great. Right. But that is the biggest part, is why we have financial reasons where cats are surrendered back, either to the shelter or people calling us up. So those are the big parts of it. Yes, cats are not as expensive as dogs. I think it's safe to say.
I think that's safe to say. And easier to take care of.
It's certainly easier to take care of. But it is a consideration that you all need to make sure that you're doing. And again, congrats for those of you who are researching this out. And hopefully this has been a great resource for you.
Because you know what?
What?
These little guys are depending on their adopter to take good care of her.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
So we're going to add lots more content. We're excited. Hopefully it's very valuable to you all as we go through this. We're getting ready to go in kitten season. I'll go ahead and prepare you right now. It's about to get really cute really quick.
It's going to get really cute and really poopy in here really fast.
I know. Think of this.
Times 28?
By 28 in a pile. But it is really, it's what do we call it? The season we
don't like to love.
Don't like to love, we hate to love, we love to hate, whatever it is. But we're here to be a resource as our kitties come from across the state, which just kind of feeds into that.
And in Cincinnati?
The vetting in Cincinnati, the vets will do whatever they can, the vetting services, they'll have all the shots and everything else, but the predictability is not there, it's an animal. So make sure that you plan ahead on your financial burden that will take place and make it much more of a happy forever home for your cat. So thank you so much.